is this video? Honestly, I don't even know. So this video is gonna be titled "How to Code" or "How to Program in Blank Minutes." So I'm gonna be going over all the main parts of programming and how you can get started, and however many minutes this video ends up being after I edit it. Okay, so first of all, what even is programming? Usually when people think of programming, they think of binary and the zeros and ones, but that's not really what it is. Modern day programming isn't like that. Programming is really just giving a set of instructions to your computer, or really just any hardware. So programming languages are really just tools. Some of them are better at doing one thing than another. So for example, yeah, you can make a website with Python or C# or whatever, but for most people, the more efficient and better programming language for that would be HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And another difference different programming languages have is they have different syntaxes. So for example, in languages like C# or JavaScript, at the end of each line of code you would have to put a semicolon, and for example in Python you don't have to do that. And the way you write code is different based on the programming language too. So for example, let's say you want to make your terminal output hello world. In Python you would put print, and then in parentheses, and then inside the parentheses quotation mark, and then hello world. And in C# you would do debug.log, or you could do console.write. I forgot to mention this. I'm not an expert programmer or anything, so if I get something wrong, just tell me in the comments, and I can't do anything to fix it, but I'll learn from it, I guess. In the default Notepad application on Windows, you can just open that and start programming. So technically that's kind of an IDE, and an IDE, what it does is it just helps you write code pretty much. It's software that helps you make more software. So some examples would be PyCharm or Visual Studio Code, or like I said earlier, you could just use the regular Notepad app. And the differences between them is really not that big. They're still just tools. I'm gonna go over the main components of programming languages in one language while making a project. So let me just show you what I mean. I'm gonna go with Python because that's what I've been using most recently. Okay, so this is Python. Python is a programming language, and I'm using PyCharm as a IDE. First of all, one of the most important things, and the first line of code you should write would be print, and just hello world, is this working, or something like that. And as we can see right here, hello world, is this working, got printed. So obviously the way you write this is going to be different in different programming languages. And the second thing you should learn is variables. So there's different kinds of variables. You got floats, you got integers, booleans, what else, you got strings. Okay, so we have the 4 different types of variables here. Z is a string, X is 1, which is an integer, and C is going to be a float, so it can have decimal places, and V is a boolean, which is true or false. Let's say variable 1 is equal to input. Okay, so first we're gonna ask the user, let's say, what is your age? The second line is going to be listening for an input from the user, and it's going to put the input into a variable. Variable 1 is going to be equal to what we gave it. So I gave it 15, so variable 1 is going to be 15. So an if statement is just if, and in parentheses, it's going to ask for our age, it's going to listen for input, and whatever we give it is going to be called our age. Then in the if statement we have if age is let's say less than 20, then we're gonna do print you're younger than 20. If else statement just checks for what you give it, and if this is false, then it goes to the else. Let's say here we give it 19. It's gonna check if our age is less than 20 and 19 is less than 20, so it's gonna print you're younger than 20. If we do, let's say 25, it's gonna check for if the age is less than 20 and it's not, so it's not gonna print this. And then it's gonna go to the else and it's gonna print you're older than 20. How programming languages work is pretty much it starts executing the first line of code and it goes down to the last, and it only does it one time. So if you want a certain command repeating, you would have a function. So in C# that would be the update function. In Python you can just use while loops. If we want Python to keep repeating a certain task, we can use a while loop. Pretty much while whatever you put in the parentheses, so while age is less than 20, then it will do whatever you tell it to inside these lines. So this is gonna keep repeating, and right now we're only asking input one time, so age number isn't gonna change. The while loop is gonna keep repeating you're younger than 20. It's not gonna stop. So what is your age? Let's do 15, and it just keeps going. So yeah, these are just the basics of programming, and there's a lot more to it. It gets a lot more in depth, but obviously that's not gonna fit in this video. So I hope you learned something. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, all of that, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video.